Hello and welcome to the news on NTA International. I am Stella Inameti and the sign language interpreter is Shagun Ajayi. First, the headlines. President Tinubu arrives in Lagos for ECOWAS 50th anniversary. Development projects queue up for inauguration. Nigeria's First Lady celebrates International Children's Day, launches Agile Additional Financing Project. King Charles, on historic visit to open Canadian Parliament, gets enthusiastic welcome. Thanks for joining us. Now, details of the news. President Bola Tinubu has reaffirmed commitment to nurturing and protecting children as Nigeria's future leaders, innovators, and change makers. In a message on the occasion of the 2025 Children's Day, the president described them as the pride and future of our great nation. Speaking on the theme of this year's celebration, Stand Up, Speak Up, Building a Bullying-Free Generation, the president promised to entrench a culture where every child feels safe, respected, and heard, both in physical spaces and digital communities. He affirmed his belief that every child has the right to grow up in a loving and protective environment, pledging that children who are unable to remain in their biological homes are given the care and protection they deserve. As the Federal Ministry of Women's Affairs has developed the national guidelines for alternative care for children to complement the recently launched National Plan of Action on Ending Violence Against Children. President Tinubu says in alignment with the Renewed Hope agenda, the government is committed to implementing proactive measures to strengthen existing efforts to support families and communities, including developing a robust institutional framework focused exclusively on child protection and development. This will ensure greater accountability in safeguarding the rights and well-being of every Nigerian child. He said his administration has introduced a national policy on safety, security, and violence-free schools and developed guidelines for school administrators, among several other measures. Social-emotional learning and child safeguarding, he said, has been embedded into teacher training as the National Commission for Almajiri and Out-of-School Children will create inclusive pathways for every child to learn, thrive, and succeed, regardless of background. The Nigerian children are the heartbeat of the nation, and as such, there must be a renewed commitment to their education, opening more doors for them to acquire requisite knowledge and skills needed to guarantee a good future. Nigeria's First Lady, Oluremi Tinubu, stated this while inaugurating the Agile Additional Financing Project and the Agile Games Award ceremony as part of the children's celebration, which is being marked this year in the country. State House correspondent Adeni Taiwo reports.
They represent a major segment of any society, the joy of the present and the hope of the future. And on a day dedicated to celebrating and highlighting issues affecting them around the world, they also have a lot to say, their voices and messages ringing through in colorful presentations.
You are enough, you are bold, you are strong, you are special, you are love deserving. Everyone deserves love.
That is what integrity. You say what you mean and you mean.
As the day unfolds, Nigeria's First Lady Oluremi Tinubu joined the celebration, noting that key interventions such as the Adolescent Girls Initiative for Learning and Empowerment, Agile, is expanding across the country with significant impact to the benefit of children.
I am pleased to learn that Agile project is significantly contributing to reducing the burden of out-of-school children in our communities by increasing secondary school enrollment among adolescent girls in Nigeria. It is on the strength of the impact of the project that is now being extended to 14 new states through additional financing bringing the total of agile benefiting states to 21 nationwide.
While highlighting the expectations, the First Lady notes that children equally have responsibilities even at their tender age.
Your efforts, innovation, and courage is worthy of celebration. Keep learning, keep creating, and know that your potential to make a real difference in Nigeria is limitless.
From 21 states are now on board the Agile Project platform, leveraging additional financing.
As we honor our children today, let us remember no child should be forced to choose between safety and school, between culture and dignity. We owe them more, and through Agile and through our actions at state level, we are beginning to deliver on that program.
And to the Nigerian children, our change makers, our hope, rest assured that you're seen, you're heard, and you're valued.
As a special highlight, the First Lady joined the children in cutting the anniversary cake. From the banquet hall of the presidential villa, Adeni Itaiwo, NTA News.
Nigerian children are joining the world in celebrating Children's Day, a day set aside by the United Nations General Assembly to promote the welfare and rights of children, the future leaders of tomorrow. Gender correspondent Ngozi Tekniku reflects on the progress made in promoting children's rights and welfare, highlighting the challenges and opportunities that lie ahead for our young ones.
In Nigeria, Children's Day is celebrated on May 27, a tradition since 1964, focusing on promoting children's welfare and rights. Despite efforts to promote their rights, many Nigerian children face challenges such as poverty, limited access to quality education, healthcare, and security issues. However, there is hope. Various initiatives are on the way to improve their lives, with government and organizations working tirelessly to ensure a better future for the next generation.
Many girls want to be here, but I don't think it's everybody that has the opportunity to be in a science school.
Not everyone has the access. I am in this school because my parents have paid the monies necessary. Okay, what of the girls in the villages? What of the girls in those local government areas?
We come together as a bloc, to speak as a bloc, and to also find a path towards ensuring that our children on the African continent are well protected.
But Nigeria particularly, we have ratified conventions that prohibit violence against children, especially child labor.
12-year-old Aisha shares her thoughts on what she hopes for on this special day and beyond. Her view echoed by many others.
I want the Children's Day to be celebrated when all children will be happy. They'll never forget the day, and fun like other games, going to some parks or traveling somewhere.
What I like most about Children's Day is the fact that they're celebrating all children, and they also want children to be happy, to feel important, and to know that their rights will never be violated, but will always be promoted.
Children's Day is like being fun, and you'll be happy, and you'll be super, super excited.
As Nigerians celebrate Children's Day, stakeholders emphasize the need to honor the resilience and potential of Nigerian children. The call is to work together to create a society that values, protects, and empowers our young ones. In Abuja, Ngozi Tekniku, NTA News.
And joining us via Zoom to discuss further on the 2025 International Children's Day is the National Coordinator, Child Protection Network Nigeria, Mr. Olakunle Sani. Good to have you join us.
Yeah, thank you very much. Thank you for having me tonight.
Okay.
Happy Children's Day.
Thank you so much. Now, of what importance and significance is this celebration to the children, some of whom are yet to understand the meaning of life?
Okay, thank you very much. Celebrating Children's Day gives an opportunity to express how much how important children are to the society, the important role they play, and the value we place on them as a society. Because if we have to celebrate Father's Day, Mother's Day, and then we don't get to celebrate Children's Day, it means that we don't really appreciate, even though they are not doing much of the work for us, but yet we regard to them as the future leaders and the hope of the society. And so if they are truly the hope, then we must continue to celebrate them. And this signifies assuring the society that we have, as long as we continue to have children, the Nigerian society will continue to exist. As long as we have children, that means there is hope for the future of the country. And once we engage them and celebrate them this way, they will begin to see their rightful place and also know that they are being recognized as true holders of the society. So the celebration gives opportunity to the children to also understand their place, and then to feel at least once in the year, to feel on top of the world, because that's what it means for them. Because they know that because of them, everywhere and everything is being addressed or organized just because of them. So it's a significant one and it's a good one.
Okay, now what do you think we should be doing as a people to make this day more meaningful to the future generation?
Okay, so like some of the things that we need to start doing so that it doesn't just come off as an ordinary celebration is to begin to look at the scorecard. How much impact have we been able to make in the lives of these children? What are in terms of their rights, the right to survival, the right to protection, right to development, and their right to participation? Where are we? Have we been able to achieve all of these things? Because we know as we are in the country today, many children are still out of school. We have over 15 million children, close to 20 million according to statistics. We have so many of them sleeping on the streets out there. We have many of them who go to bed hungry. We have so many of them who are struggling with one form of medical problem or the other, but they cannot have access to basic health care because their parents do not have, because their parents cannot afford it, or maybe they don't even have parents at all to support them. So to make a day like this very significant, we must begin to look at our scorecard. Okay, how much have we been able to do for these children? Where are we last year? Where are we today? Then how much the policies and the structures that we try to put in place to protect them, how much have we been able to achieve them? Are we going to continue, or do we still see incidents of such that we saw in Oyo State some few weeks ago, or about a week ago, where even though the man drove recklessly, the father drove recklessly, the fact that there is a child in that car, and the fact that the society values children, no police officer should carry a gun to shoot at anybody who has a child around him. So, we should be looking at it today to reflect on how much we have contributed to the safety, the protection, and also providing for their basic needs as children. So that or else if you don't do that, you just come up as one normal celebration that we do. We just celebrate it, and then we do the merry and all the rest of that. And that's why for us at Child Protection Network, so that the day can become very, very significant, we are even calling for a total national public holiday, where including parents, everybody, so that we know that we are truly serious about this. It's not just the children shall be observing holiday. Parents should also observe holiday as well, so that they can really contribute to their children, so that they can be available to spend quality and memorable time with their children, so that they can, if there is any need for the child to, they can be able to use that opportunity to make. And for the government too, we'll be able, just like we do for the Workers' Day, we'll use that day to really, measure what level are we. The civil society will look at what can we do to support government in their policies in terms of implementation. A lot of things we'll have been able to do. So we need to two things, like I said, we need to make sure that we begin to look at our scorecard. Where are we? As we are even closing down on the SDGs, the Sustainable Development Goals. Now we have a national action plan on ending violence against children, 2025 to 2030. Where are we with it? How many alternative care arrangements do you have for children, such that when children are left on the street, I mean, there's a place for them rather than sleeping on the street. There's someone for them to say.
Okay, Mr. Kunle, if you can hear me, let's speak on this year's theme, which is Stand Up, Speak Up, Building a Bullying-Free Generation. Can you speak to this theme?
Okay, yes. Thank you very much. The theme for this year, I must commend government for this proactiveness, because this theme, I mean, we know that around last year in 2024, we had several cases of bullying in schools. I mean, several videos came up, and children were even bullying each other. And so this is a proactive step by government to ensure that children play a significant role. Children play a significant role in ensuring that, I mean, the government are playing a significant role to ensure that children know that they don't have to bully each other, know the impact of bullying, and also giving to those children who are being bullied a voice, that government is taking this very, very seriously. Not just because policies have been developed, and so this is an opportunity. This creates an opportunity for children to know that, okay, bullying is unacceptable, irrespective of where it is coming from. And so it is a good one, and it's also now for children to know that you can now speak up. And then for me too, as another child too, we know that I have a responsibility to build a better, a bully-free society. And so children today now, they know that they have a role, not just to come and eat chicken and rice, but they have a role to play in building a bully-free society, in speaking up whenever they experience it, or whenever they see their friend experiencing it, or and then there are also a caution to them not to do it to one another any longer, and so rather than doing that, they use the love, care for each other, support each other in a manner that will keep each other safe.
Okay, thank you so much, Mr. Olakunle Sani, National Coordinator, Child Protection Network, Nigeria. We appreciate your thoughts.
Thank you very much.
Okay, we'll take a short break now, and we'll be back with more reports. Welcome back, and thanks for staying with us. President Bola Tinubu has commended the strategic vision and plans of the Southeast Development Commission, which have been designed to enhance the renewed hope agenda for development in the region. The president expressed satisfaction after he was briefed by the managing director of the commission, Mark Okoye, on the activities of the commission in their first 100 days of inauguration. The managing director, Southeast Development Commission, one of the agencies established for regional development, revealed that his commission has mapped out a 7-point plan to contribute to the growth of the southeastern part of the country. He highlighted the major programs to include security intervention, agro-development, economic and industrialization scheme, venture capital project, housing and sports development.
We have broadly around 7 to 8 major programs. One of them is the Southeast Security Intervention Program, where we'll be working closely with the host governments to see how we can support for a more secure Southeast. Because only when there's improved security, then you can start layering on development and investment and economic opportunities for then young people. The second is which Mr. President quite liked a lot, was the agro development program, where we aim to develop over 50,000 hectares of land over the next 4 years. But I think the Southeasterners will be getting perhaps one of the big announcements that hadn't been done perhaps since the 60s, something that will catalyze the real sector and the industrialization space within the Southeast, all approved by Mr. President, but he'll be announcing that on his own time.
Meanwhile, President Bola Tinubu has arrived in Lagos ahead of tomorrow, Wednesday's 50th anniversary commemoration of the Economic Community of West African States, ECOWAS. The presidential airplane landed at the Murtala Mohammed International Airport, Ikeja, at about 4:15 Tuesday afternoon. He was received on arrival by a delegation led by the Lagos State Governor, Babajide Sanwo-Olu. There was also a military honor for the president. President Tinubu will join other regional leaders and dignitaries to celebrate the 50-year existence of the regional bloc. In a statement, the Presidential Advisor on Information and Strategy, Bayo Onanuga, stated that President Tinubu, chairman of ECOWAS, will highlight the economic bloc's milestones at Eco Hotels and Suites, while in Lagos, President Tinubu will on Saturday, May 31, inaugurate some projects of his administration. Among them are Section 1 of the Lagos-Calabar Coastal Highway, Lekki Deep Sea Port Tax Credit Concrete Road, the flag-off of Section 2 of the Lagos-Calabar Coastal Highway, and the 7th Exile Road. President Tinubu will observe the Eid al-Kabir prayers at the State House, Dodon Barracks, before returning to Abuja. Despite ECOWAS is headquartered in Abuja, Minister of Foreign Affairs Yusuf Tuga has announced that the choice of Lagos for the 50th ECOWAS anniversary celebration is the fact that the treaty establishing the organization was signed there in 1975. The minister stated this while briefing the media in Abuja on the series of activities lined up to mark the epoch-making event. He highlighted several achievements made by ECOWAS. However, more projects are on course, he says, particularly on achieving full economic integration of the community.
If you compare us, in fact, to other regional economic communities, you will see that there's a lot of progress that has been made and more to come. How do we achieve more? Building infrastructure, investing in infrastructure, and that is why today the emphasis is on these trade and transport corridors.
On the exit of 3 Sahelian countries, Tuga stated that
we are not hopeful that those countries will come back to the ECOWAS fold. I was in Niger not long ago, and they made it clear to us that they have not ruled out a return in the future.
On series of activities, the minister says Nigeria's former military head of state, General Yakubu Gowon, who is the only surviving founding father of ECOWAS, is expected to grace the occasion alongside other heads of governments of other member states who will be attending the celebration. We'll take a short break again. We'll be back with more reports. Welcome back and thanks for staying with us. King Charles III was given an enthusiastic welcome by Canadians who turned out in droves to see their monarch in his historic visit to open Parliament. Prama Panyi reports that the visit is part of pushback against U.S. President Donald Trump's annexation threats.
The 76-year-old king, who is Canada's head of state, as part of the Commonwealth, was greeted at the airport by Prime Minister Mark Carney, who has invited him to give an address opening Canada's new legislature on Tuesday. On their first stop in the Canadian capital, the royals visited Farmers Market, where they were cheered by thousands of Canadians. The throne speech outlining the government's priorities is typically given by the British monarch's representative in Canada, the Governor-General. Charles, making his first visit to Canada since his coronation, has never commented on Trump's repeated talks of making Canada the 51st U.S. state. Queen Camilla is accompanying Charles on the 24-hour visit to Ottawa. The government's paths to rebuild Canada and create new relationships will be outlined in Charles's speech, Carney said. A government statement described the visit as a momentous and historic occasion that underscores Canada's identity and sovereignty as a constitutional monarchy. After Charles and Camilla landed in Ottawa in the afternoon, they were received by Governor General Mary Simon and other dignitaries before meeting community organizations. They also planted a tree at the Governor General's estate, and Charles held audiences with Carney and indigenous leaders. Frama Pani, NTA News.
And this is where we end the news. Thanks for being a part of it. I am Stella Inamiti, and the sign language interpreter is Shagun Ajay. Bye for now.